a lonely courier suddenly finds Lady Luck on his side. However, his fortunes are caused by a string of treachery, which he becomes the unwitting center of. On the morning of St. John's night, Miguel watches Aristegui from above and triggers a bomb under his car. However, a mysterious elderly couple, Remedios and Nemesio, witnesses what he did. Soon, at Aristegui's funeral, Miguel tells the deceased man's son, Angel, that he'll be his legal guardian. Miguel then finds the elderly couple there along with a little girl. The girl leaves to meet a boy while Miguel speaks to the couple. He assumes they want to blackmail him after witnessing him trigger the bomb. Instead, the couple assures him that they're here to help. Remedios predicts that Miguel will have everything he desires, but in exchange, no one will ever love him. Behind them, a black cat knocks over a vase, and the woman tells him that the next time he sees a cat, he'll know what his desires will cost. 20 years later, Serafin parks his motorcycle at Club Marcha for a delivery, but an adult Angel parks next to it, getting his car door scraped. Because of this, his bodyguard throws the motorcycle out despite Serafin's protests. The events lead Serafin into a panic attack, so he takes his medicine to calm down. That evening, Serafin returns home and hears from the radio that tomorrow is St. John's night, where they'll celebrate by burning their desires and wishes. Serafin asks his co-worker Natalia about the tradition the next day. She explains that during St. John's night, they can write 3 wishes, and if they burn them, they'll come true. Thinking of a wish, Serafin asks his friend David how much his bike costs. David just points out how he can never afford it, and instead promises that he can have his motorcycle if something happens to him. David then heads out to make deliveries, and Serafin soon follows. However, Serafin later encounters a crowd gathering around an accident. Nearby are spilled packages along with a carrier containing a black cat. He takes the carrier before checking on the accident, only to find that the victim is David. This sends Serafin into a panic attack, so one of the EMTs check on him. After he calms down, an officer returns the carrier to him, and only then does Serafin notice a delivery address for the cat. Serafin then goes to the city vehicle deposit to pick up his motorcycle. However, the officers mistake David's bike as his. Taking the opportunity, the man drives off with his upgraded vehicle, and when an officer realizes the mistake, another car rolls down a slope, preventing him from stopping Serafin. Thinking that the black cat made him lucky, Serafin goes to a bar and plays a slot machine, where he wins 120 euros. Still, he has to deliver the cat, so he drives to the home listed on the package. There, he passes by Maria, who's impressed with his motorcycle. Recognizing that he's a courier, she asks him to deliver a red envelope to Miguel. Serafin agrees but asks her out on a date in exchange. In response, the woman kisses him, then adds that he shouldn't tell Miguel who sent the envelope before leaving. Serafin then heads inside the house, which turns out to be the home of Remedios and Nemesio. Upon receiving the cat, the woman invites Serafin to stay. He refuses since he needs to visit his friend, but Remedios assures him that David will be alright. This surprises Serafin since he hasn't mentioned David specifically. Remedios then distracts him by showing him a painting and offering him tea. Soon, Serafin relaxes as he recounts how the cat has made him lucky, though he asserts that he didn't want David to get hurt. Remedios then asks what else he wants, so Serafin jokingly mentions wanting to go to the Caribbean and get rich. He also admits that he hasn't been with a woman. Remedios promises that all his wishes will come true, and Serafin drinks to this. Later, he heads to the office in good spirits. Natalia invites him to have lunch and visit David, and to everyone's surprise, Serafin tells her to make that invitation a wish so it'd come true. He then walks off, leaving his co-workers stunned by his confidence. The man then heads to Miguel's estate only to find Maria there. She gestures for him to keep quiet about their meeting before he continues to Miguel's office. Upon reading the letter he delivered, Miguel starts having a panic attack. Serafin quickly offers his medicine, but the man's bodyguard, Bonnie, shoves him away and prepares an oxygen machine to help his boss instead. As soon as he calms down, Miguel pushes the man back, causing Serafin to drop his medicine bottle. Bonnie picks it up but places it on another table where Miguel's bottle of the same medicine lays. The boss then asks Serafin who sent the letter, but he claims that he doesn't know. With that, Miguel sends the courier away and Serafin takes his medicine, but mistakenly grabs Miguel's instead. On his way out, Serafin finds a lottery ticket inside David's helmet, so he rushes to the lottery office. There, he asks the attendant, Azucena, to cash in his ticket, which apparently earns him 3,000 euros. Believing that his luck will just keep getting better, Serafin decides to buy another ticket and bets on the first 8 numbers. He then bets Azucena to go on a date with him if he wins. That afternoon in his apartment, Serafin wakes up to Natalia's call reminding him that they're supposed to visit David. She tells him to meet her at Cafe Central, so he heads there early. While waiting, Serafin's surprised to find Maria at the same cafe. She urges him to go out with her as promised, and Serafin, drawn by her beauty, agrees. Natalia sees them as the woman pulls them away. However, Serafin asks Maria if she's married to Miguel. Instead of answering, she kisses and pulls him into a hotel just as an old man is being taken into an ambulance. Soon, Serafin prepares for his first time with a lady. When he steps out of the shower, he sees Maria by the window looking worried. Dismissing his concern, she initiates intimacy, but before any action can begin, Serafin gets too excited. Embarrassed, he prepares to leave. Maria, however, continues to flirt with him, urging him to take her to the Caribbean. This excites Serafin again. Meanwhile, Natalia stays at the cafe heartbroken. Just as she's leaving, she spots Maria kissing Serafin before getting into a cab. The man then heads up to a tourism office to purchase the tickets, so Natalia waits for him outside. When he gets out, the man assumes that she just arrived, so he gives her a ride to the hospital. On the way, however, he boasts about going away with Maria. This makes Natalia jealous, so she storms off in tears. Serafin follows her back to the office, but she locks him out. She even cuts his image from a group photo, then puts it on her ashtray to burn. As Serafin begs Natalia to let him in, Bonnie passes by and offers him a job. He instructs him to go to a cemetery at midnight to pick up a briefcase. Serafin accepts the task. Later on, Serafin goes home where Azucena approaches him. She oddly starts flirting with him, but he refuses as he's now into Maria. However, when Azucena invites him to sleep with her, he takes her into his apartment. There, he prepares for his first time again, not knowing that the woman is mixing his drink with something. After he steps out of the bathroom, Azucena takes him to the bed and urges him to drink. Serafin gets overwhelmed by her actions, making him drink more. Just then, the TV shows the winning lottery numbers being announced. Frantically, he retrieves his ticket while Azucena continues to satisfy him. However, before the last numbers are announced, the TV goes static. This makes Serafin panic again, so he goes for the medicine bottle. Before he can get one, however, he collapses. Azucena panics, thinking she killed him instead of knocking him out. With no choice, she rummages through his belongings and finds the 3,000 euros he won earlier, leaving with it. Unbeknownst to them, all these started the day before. Maria was with Angel at a hotel whom she'd been cheating on her husband with. He complained that the room was a mess, but Maria reminded him that it used to be her home, having kept the place to remind her what was at stake if she messed up. Angel dismissed her woes, so Maria slapped him. However, she instantly apologized, begging him not to leave her as he was the only one who could help her escape Miguel. Instead, Angel threatened her against leaving his adoptive father. Maria snapped back, warning him that she'd tell Miguel about their relationship, which would get them both killed. Despite this, Angel walked away, unbothered by her threats. Angel then went to the club where he bumped into Serafin's motorcycle. As his bodyguard dealt with the courier, Angel approached the club's manager, Matias, who reported that Rafael was asking to get into their poker game. This annoyed Angel, but he told Matias to allow him given that Rafael's debt to his father was due tomorrow. Just then, Rafael tried to speak to Angel, but the man ignored him. Instead, Angel went to his private lounge where Rosetta gave him a show. He returned to his father's mansion the next day just as Serafin was leaving after delivering the letter. Maria called him by the pool, warning him that Miguel was watching. She then removed her swimwear and asked her stepson to put lotion on her, adding that if he refused, Miguel might get suspicious. With disdain, Angel complied. With this, Angel went to his father to deliver their records. In turn, Miguel handed him the letter Serafin delivered, which turned out to be a warning that his wife was cheating on him. Angel feigned ignorance over this and suggested that someone might be trying to blackmail him. He later confronted Maria, believing that she sent the letter. Without answering, she told Angel to meet her at her hotel tonight, Afraid of being discovered, Angel went to Matias and ordered him to deliver their special champagne to Maria's hotel room. This would knock her out and they could plant a man to appear like her lover so Miguel could catch them together. With this, Angel later drove Miguel to the hotel, claiming that he also received a tip about Maria's disloyalty. When they arrived, they witnessed Maria kissing Serafin before going into the hotel, surprising them both. As his plans were ruined by this encounter, Angel later called Maria, who had figured out that he was setting her up. She then mentioned that she was going away, but planned to tell Miguel who her real lover was first. This had Angel nervous, more so when a pissed Miguel arrived at their poker game that evening. The man challenged him to Russian roulette, and when Angel refused, Miguel questioned him about Maria. Again, Angel denied ever sleeping with her. To prove his loyalty, Miguel ordered his son to kill Serafin at the cemetery. He would then need to wear the courier's uniform on his way out to make the guard think he left. However, Miguel also ordered Angel to leave town afterward, telling him to take the briefcase from Serafin, which would contain €1,000,000 for his escape. Miguel then reminded him that Aristegui died 20 years ago, which meant that his killer wouldn't be charged for the murder anymore. Still, Angel declared that if he knew who murdered his father, he'd kill him. With this, Miguel told him that the name of his father's killer was also in the briefcase, so he could go ahead and take revenge. Driven to find out the truth, Angel prepares to meet Serafin with Matias that night, only to accidentally bump into Rafael with his car. The day before this, Rafael met David at the club. David was his dealer, but Rafael already owed him €6,000, which the man promised to pay tomorrow. After David left, Rafael approached Angel, who directed him to Matias. He asked the manager to lend him €1,000, which he'd return after winning poker tonight. Matias allowed him as per Angel's instructions. That evening, Azucena returned to the lottery office and caught Rafael on the phone, asking someone to take care of David. He described him as the courier with the red bike, which Azucena, who turned out to be his daughter, overheard. She confronted him about how his debt to Miguel would put them on the streets by tomorrow. Rafael cried out of guilt, so Azucena promised to help. On the morning of St. John's night, Rafael spotted David's bike outside the lottery office, not knowing it was Serafin driving instead. He hid inside the bathroom while Azucena tended to the man, giving him the €3,000 meant for David, which Serafin mistook as his lottery winnings. However, as Serafin left, Rafael finally realized that he wasn't David. That night, Rafael lost at the poker game, so Angel warned him that he had 4 hours to pay his father. A distraught Rafael grieved over his luck at the bar afterward. Rosetta tried to comfort him, noting how luck-based games were crazy, like how tonight's winning lottery numbers were the numbers 1 to 8. Recalling that this was what Serafin betted, he rushed out, which led to him getting hit by Angel that night. In the present, he picks up Azucena, whom he employed to steal the €3,000 back from Serafin. He drives her back to Serafin's apartment to get the winning ticket, but she mourns that she accidentally killed the man earlier. To their surprise, they find Serafin getting on his bike, so they follow him. The day before this, after Angel left Maria's apartment, she recovered a camera from the vent, which had recorded their time together. She then went down to the lobby where the attendant requested for her to vacate her place for one night. This was so his parents, who had their wedding night in the same room, could celebrate their anniversary the following day. Maria agreed. That evening, she watched her video with Angel just as the clock struck midnight on St. John's night. On that morning, she visited Remedios and Nemesio, who offered her a way to kill Miguel to free herself. She hesitated in doing this, but the couple reminded her how they found her abandoned and close to death when she was young. They made her a deal to save her life. They also reminded her that she wished for a rich husband, but Maria argued that Miguel wasn't human, so she'd rather die than continue being with him. With that, Remedios gave Maria the red envelope, which, once Miguel received it, would start the events to free her. Maria later ran into Serafin as she left the couple's home. This allowed her to hire him to deliver the letter. Remedios watched this event unfold, reminding her husband that they just had to wait for the humans to make their decisions. When Maria arrived home later, she replaced Miguel's medicine with a powder that Remedios gave her. She then tended to her husband, seducing him as she checked his vitals. That afternoon, she waited at the cafe near the hotel for Angel, only to find that the man had taken his father with him. Fortunately for her, Serafin arrived at the same cafe, so she used him to divert Miguel's suspicions. As they went to the hotel, Maria saw the old man being taken into the ambulance. She let Serafin go ahead into another room as she talked to the hotel attendant, who explained that the champagne in her room caused his father to fall ill. This confirmed to Maria that Angel had set her up. After her time with Serafin, she went to Club Marcha as she threatened Angel about setting her up over the phone. While the man was busy on his phone, she went into Angel's private lounge and discovered Rosetta on his bed. Before the man could notice her there, she left. Maria rushed to her room in Miguel's mansion, heartbroken that Angel also cheated on her. Blaming her husband for her misfortunes, she soon forced him to watch the tape of her and Angel. This caused him to have a panic attack, so Maria gave him the medicine she tampered with. Instead of killing him, however, this actually saved him. Feeling cornered, Maria crawled into bed, waiting for what Miguel would do to her. To her surprise, she woke up that night unharmed. Only then did she realize that the medicine bottle had been switched. She confronted Bonnie about this, and the bodyguard recalled that Serafin had the same medicine. This led her to realize that Serafin had the poisoned medicine. Bonnie told her not to pursue the courier as Angel would be taking care of him. He also assured her that Angel would disappear with €1,000,000 afterward. Unbeknownst to her, Miguel was secretly planting a bomb in the briefcase he meant for Angel. Worried, Maria went to Serafin's apartment, finding him dead. She assumed that the pills killed him, so she gathered them to remove the evidence. Maria also found his note about the cemetery along with his winning lottery ticket. Seeing this as her way out, she took the ticket and used David's bike to leave, not knowing that Rafael and Azucena had mistaken her for Serafin. Just as they left, Natalia arrived to visit her co-worker. Finally, on the night at the cemetery, Angel sneaks into the cemetery and prepares a trap just as Maria, Rafael, and Azucena arrive. Maria, who hides her identity under the helmet, picks up the briefcase from a cemetery staff, then drives off. However, she gets caught in the line that Angel set up, knocking her back. Angel then takes the briefcase and finds a pamphlet for Aristegui's memorial, which includes his and Miguel's photo. This finally confirms to Angel that Miguel killed his father. Angered, he took Serafin's bike to head to Miguel. Rafael sees him, so he shoots him dead. Afterward, he removes his helmet only to discover that he just killed Angel instead of Serafin. Unable to find the winning ticket, Rafael checks the briefcase and finds the money. With this, he instructs his daughter to hide Angel's body while he pays Miguel. He also tells her to put on the helmet and take the bike on her way out to make the guard think that the courier left. At his mansion, Miguel waits for Angel, knowing that he should have discovered the truth by now. To his surprise, he sees Remedios and Nemesio at his house, carrying their black cat. Just then, Rafael arrives with the briefcase to pay his debt. However, Miguel's distracted when he spots the motorcycle rider passing by from afar. Thinking that this is Angel, he triggers the bomb, not knowing that it's already beside him. The bomb explodes, killing Rafael and Miguel. Seeing this, Remedios congratulates Bonnie as he's earned the freedom he wished for. However, Nemesio reminds her that they have one more thing to handle. Days after, Natalia's in the Caribbean with Serafin as she knits baby booties for their future child. Her pregnancy surprises Serafin, so Natalia hands him a photo of her parents, noting that it's their dream to have a grandchild. From the photo, he discovers that her parents are Remedios and Nemesio, while Natalia was the girl he met at the cemetery on the day of Aristegui's funeral. This reveals that Natalia is also a witch, having used her magic to revive her beloved like how her parents saved Maria's life before.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.